There's no man that's gonna want someone like me. So, a fat, balding farter who can't have kids. Am I baked? I'm trying to be. I feel like a major skank for like showing my shoulders because I've been covered up for like 3 years straight. And I've been like conditioned to feel that way. He really, really did not want me going back to this kind of life. Like taking off hijab, being high. But here I am. I would be considered the biggest skank of all time. Look at my hair. I don't think Salah would find this attractive. So no. If I wanted to attract him in here, I'd put my hijab on.
The following day.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, there's a combination of things going through my mind. First of all, I'm so confused. Like I've always been. I've spent the last 3 years adapting to a different culture, and then it's just like, I thought like you guys, I thought it would be so easy to just rip everything off and just go back to like how I was 3 years ago, but it's not like that. And this just feels better for me right now. And maybe I just need more time. I don't know. But I just care about myself and growing as a person. Still the same. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago because acting, like just getting high and acting just like, I feel like I have no purpose doing stuff like that. You know, I want to grow. I don't want to regress. I'm sorry, but I don't. If I wanted to attract him in here, I'd put my hijab on.
Hey y'all, Nana here. I hope that everybody is doing well. I hope you're keeping safe and I hope you're keeping healthy. I myself, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Matter of fact, I'm just Peachy King. Anyhow, y'all, I went out, ran some errands, okay? Came back, set up my computer right, turn on the YouTube, and who do I see pop up on my screen? Foodie non-beauty herself. And what is she wearing? She is wearing a hijab. And I'm like, excuse me, what? Excuse me, what? After the show, the shit show she put on last night, she gonna have the nerve to come on wearing a hijab, claiming to be Muslim yet again. And I'm like, what? Y'all, I'm going to be all over the place, okay? I got things to say. I've had things to say, but I've been busy, okay? Living my life, doing just busy, okay? I've had things to say, so I'm going to be all over the place. But when I saw that, like 10 minutes ago, I'm like, I got to say something, okay? I got to say something. Now, look, I'm not Muslim, okay? But I respect everyone's religion. I don't judge people for what they choose to believe in. I have my own beliefs. I have my own whatever, okay? I'm not Muslim, but I respect the religion. And I would be so I would feel so disrespected. I would feel so insulted to see this woman who's been acting a fool the whole time. She didn't stop acting a fool when she was in Kuwait. She didn't stop acting a fool when she was in Syria. No. And she was dressed in a hijab. But after last night, when she's sitting there looking all naked, high as a kite, and wants to come on today and reclaim the hijab and being a Muslim, right? I mean, we knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen because we could see. We could see that she did not like what she was seeing in the screen there, okay? But let me say this. Let me say this loud and clear, okay? Listen up, Foodie non-beauty. The hijab is not an excuse for you to cover up your hideousness. And that's what you're doing. That's my opinion of it. I don't care if you like it, you don't like it. I have the freedom to opinions, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm using my speech to give my opinion, okay? And just because I'm not of the Muslim faith doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion on it, okay? I'm looking at it as a whole, all right? If I was Muslim, let me tell you, I would be so offended, And I'm offended for them, all right? Because I know what you're doing. You're trying to cover up what you don't like seeing, okay? What you need to do is turn off the camera and have a good heart-to-heart with yourself and figure out your life, okay? You're almost 42 years old, all right? Last night, watching you act a fool, I didn't find it funny. I didn't find it funny at all. Now, I do watch reactors because they do make it funny, right? But what you was doing last night, I'm just like, why? Well, I didn't like tuning into all that. I really started tuning in when you did the whole Kuwaiti thing, all right? Because I wanted to see how this all played out. I wanted to see if you made some changes, but you didn't. And you haven't. You never have. I mean, I could pull up clips from you being in Kuwait, in Syria. You still acting a fool. Maybe you wasn't half naked or high off your ass, right? I mean, but you was still doing shisha, right? Acting silly. But now you want to reclaim being a Muslim because you're confused. Well, if you're that damn confused, why don't you go talk to somebody? Not your buzzards, whatever the hell you want to call them, because I am convinced that some of your biggest supporters are there just to troll you. Because some of the comments I was seeing, I'm like, really? You guys are egging this on. It's so sad to me that you ain't got no friend, real friend, that would have said, hey, you know what? Get off the live stream. What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? Call me on the phone. Are you upset about something? Did you and Slaw have a fight? What is going on? You ain't got nobody like that. Or do you listen? I don't know. But all I know is seeing you back in that hijab today just really irked me. Because it's like, wow, why couldn't you get a scarf and cover up your head? Why couldn't you get a beanie? Why couldn't you get a baseball hat? Why couldn't you get a cowboy hat? Why couldn't you get a turban? Why you gotta go back to the hijab? In the short while that I was watching, I heard you say that anybody could wear a hijab, right?
Even if I didn't want to be Muslim and wear a hijab, I'm allowed to. There's no law, there's no sin. There's a lot of Christians that wear hijab. There's a lot of people who don't even practice who wear hijab.
Let me dumb it down for you. Okay? The hijab represents being a Muslim, okay? If I was wearing a cross, people are going to see that I'm a Christian, right? If I was wearing a Star of David, people are going to say I'm Jewish. If I'm carrying a rosary, they're going to say I'm Catholic, right? If I'm going on Saturdays knocking door to door, handing out the watchtowers, people are going to know I'm a Jehovah's Witness, right? There are certain items that symbolize religion for people, and that's how I see the hijab. So don't sit there and say anybody can wear it. It doesn't mean that they're Muslim. No. If you're wearing a hijab and people see you, if I'm out in public and I see a woman wearing a hijab, I'm going to assume she's Muslim, okay? Because that's what it symbolizes. So don't put on the hijab until you figure it out. That's what I'm saying. You're confused. Okay, great, you're confused. You don't understand life. Almost 42 years old, you still don't understand life. All right, whatever, okay? But what I'm saying is you're being disrespectful by just throwing that back on and saying, I'm just confused. Now, let me say something, though. Okay, Foodie Non-Beauty. Last night when you was acting a fool, it was so forced and it did not come across as being authentically you. It just kind of felt like you was going along with the crowd because that's what your crowd wants, okay? That's what your crowd wants. That's what they're begging for. That's what they're paying for. They want to see you act a fool. If you're not comfortable with it because you did not seem comfortable with it, seems forced, seems unauthentic, then that's when you need to sit down and really say, what the hell do I want to do with my life? Do I want to keep on acting a fool? At this point, I kind of feel like you have to because that's what your audience wants. But if you want to make a change, girl. It's about time. Tick tock. You're going to be 42 years old. And what have you accomplished in your life? I know that you've been questioning it because you even said this. What is my purpose in life? Sit down with yourself and do a heart-to-heart because you don't want to listen to nobody. You don't want to take nobody's advice. This is all unsolicited advice, okay? But do a heart-to-heart with yourself and figure out what you want in life. Look, all I'm saying is that unsolicited advice here, okay? Who am I? Nobody. But I don't think anybody is giving you some sensible advice. I don't think you're turning to anybody for sensible advice. But let me just say this, okay? Until you figure it out, don't go slapping on the hijab. Don't go claiming to be a Muslim once again until you figure it out. You're confused. Find other ways to cover up what you need to cover up. Don't slap on the hijab and bring more disrespect than you already have. All right? That's what I'm saying. But I have a question for you, Foodie. I have a question for you. Had you not been forced to leave Kuwait, had you not been run off from Kuwait, would you still be with your handsomest man? Would you still be with your handsomest man, living your life with your baby Julia by the seaside in Kuwait? Would you? See, I think you and Salah are a perfect fit. Y'all are like Dumb and Dumber. You're a perfect fit, you know. You got the same sense of humor. You might have your little tiffs and tantrums, whatnot, but he seems to have put up with a lot. Now, I know we all say that it's a romance scam, that he's after your money, but it seemed to work. It seemed to work. So, I don't know. You got a lot going on, girl. You do. But you're confused, that's for sure. You're torn. And all I'm saying is you need to figure it out. Don't just go running and putting back on the hijab and claiming to be a Muslim and whatnot. Not that there's anything wrong with the religion. Let me make that quite clear here, okay? But until you figure it out, don't use the hijab to cover up the hideousness that you are feeling and that you are seeing. Alright, well, that is not the video that I was planning on making, but like I said, when I saw you in the hijab, I was just like, oh no, nope, I got some things to say. I got some unsolicited advice to give. But anyhow, I got another question here about the whole divorce thing, right? Because, Beauty, you did say that you signed divorce papers, right? That you translated and everything. You signed the paperwork, but you found out that Slaw has not filed the paperwork, right? And you said, well, he's got to drive to Damascus, and that's far. So, it's kind of hard. He hasn't done it yet. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, wait a minute here. He drove you to the airport, right? So, I think the airport is in Damascus, so why didn't he kill two birds with one stone, drop you off at the airport, and then go and file the papers? Why? I mean, he did go do your visa for you and all that, right? And I mean, come on, let's think about it. He did take a 6-hour trip with his family, right? And I believe you said Damascus is only an hour and a half. I mean, if this is something that needs to be done, why ain't it getting done? Is he leaving the door open for you to return? Is he leaving the door open for you to keep giving money? Now, look, I know that you said that you don't give him money, but you tripped up and you did say, you've given his family money and, the whole, oh, let's see how your life is here with no money and 500 kids. Remember that? So what's going on? Why aren't those papers being filed? That's my question. But anyhow, I forget what I wanted to say. I'll come back with another video. And I am working on another video. The Foodie and Handsomest Man love story. Still working on that, but I'll get to it. But anyhow, that's all I got to say for right now. Just don't put on this hijab until you figure it out, girl, because you're just being disrespectful. You are. That's my opinion, but whatever. Anyhow, that's all I got to say right now. I'll see y'all real soon. Just keep an eye out for my video. And maybe I'll pop up with another video. Because I got things to say, but I got to remember what I need to say. Anyhow, that's going to be it for me. And that's going to be it for this video. Y'all take care, and I'll see you real soon.